everybody, so this is going to be about a couple of things because many things happened. I had my birthday, I got 25, so I'm officially old now, I guess. I'm actually a quarter of a century old. This is really frightening. But the reason why I'm doing this vlog today is for various reasons. Because I'm too lazy to write, because I have a new job as an editor, so I'm writing and doing and looking at things all day, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do a vlog today instead of a blog entry. So for all the people who want to read this, I'm really sorry, but it's also going to be quite a long, you know, it would have taken so much time and effort to write it because there are a couple of things that I would just like to, you know, talk about and rant about and show you, and it's just much easier with video. And I hope you can hear me all right because I'm testing out a new camera, so we'll see how that goes. Right, so anyways, welcome to my bedroom. By the way, it's very white, but that's the way I like it. Cool. I had my birthday on Wednesday, which was not so great because it was a weekday and everything. But we had the Holy Saturday and Easter Sunday and Easter Monday, and on Holy Saturday we went to a part in Bavaria, to a city called Füssen, and it was really lovely. It was a lovely town. There is going to be a blog post about that because I'm going to show you some pictures. But long story short, we just, you know, rambled around there and we just had a great time as a family. It was just me and my family, not my man or anyone. And yeah, so that was great. We had a bit of a dramatic kind of experience on the way back. First of all, we stopped in a really kind of shabby looking shop. It looked more like a gasoline station shop, because my dad wanted to buy a bottle of whiskey, and he was actually so traumatized by this whole experience and by the impolite salespeople there that he actually now has pronounced that he doesn't want to have any whiskey for his birthday, which is, you know, coming up in May. But I'm sure until then he will be back on whiskey. Not that he's an alcoholic or something, God beware, but he just loves his whiskey. Right, and then we had, you know, because we have this tradition that on the Holy Saturday we go, I come from a Catholic country, so what happens here is God, you know, kind of is resurrected or resurrects himself or whatever on Easter Sunday, but the day before he lies in his grave, and some churches kind of do a display of these graves, and we do a little bit of a route and look at the graves. And it has become distinctly shorter over the years. I remember when I was a child we probably looked at like 5, 6 graves and then we had cake. Now we look at 1 and then we have cake. But still, you know, keeping up traditions. And we went to Füssen and we saw a grave, and like Jesus' grave, and not just a random grave. And yeah, so that was lovely. And then afterwards we wanted to go, you know, to bakery or some place where we could have cake. And we went to Reute, which is close by, and it's awful. Don't ever go there. I thought it was one of the ugliest places I've ever seen, so been there, done that. And yeah, and we had really terrible cake. We didn't really have cake at all, we had pancakes and waffles, but it was cool because it has become kind of a tradition that we have to go to a really terrible place afterwards. But anyway, so my birthday, and then I celebrated it on Easter Monday, and I had, my mom made some Austrian chocolate cake, which was great, but I made myself a cake. I made like, I don't know, there's so much sugar in it. It was pretty much chocolate, sugar, coating and icing, chocolate and sugar topping. So that was like iced sugar topping. And it was delish, but you couldn't eat more than 1 slice, you know. But yeah, and I again, here we go. And what I wanted to show you were just a couple of, you know, my presents that I got, because it was a very Harry Potter-y birthday, which is really funny because, I mean, I turned 25 and still people, you know, give me Harry Potter things, and the worst thing or the best thing about it is I still am so happy about it, you know. It's like, oh, thank you, I got a blanket, oh, thank you, I got a candle, but oh my god, I got a new Harry Potter one, and like, I'm so happy about it, so yeah, that's great. Anyway, But what I got actually from the new merchandise, my sister gave me this cup. There's a niffler on it. It's from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And there is actually a really sad backstory to this cup, because when I started at the office 5 weeks ago, they told me I could bring a mug, you know, for myself. And I bought the Bowtruckle mug of the same edition. And some asshole stole it or mislaid it or whatever. From one day to the other, it just was gone. And I haven't found it since, and I'm really upset about it, and I'm really sad. And so this is a little bit of, you know, kind of soothes the pain a little bit and alleviates it, but I'm still a bit sad. Right, now, then I got, for Easter actually, I got this little fellow. Isn't he cute? Or she? I haven't decided yet what it's going to be. But its name is Mouton. And that's really funny, because I asked my man whether, like, he would agree with that. Because, I mean, Mouton is really boring, because it's just a French word for sheep. But I thought it was nice. I call him I've decided it's a he. I call him Mouy. And my man was like, you know, couldn't you just name it something that I can pronounce, because we already have these two fellas in bed with us. This is Darby. My sister gave Darby to me when I just moved to London and I was pretty lonely, and then my lovely big sister, she sent me Darby as a kind of a consoling soulmate. And I've got Duckfoot, which I got for my last birthday from my big sister as a present, and he's a hippogriff and he's called Duckfoot. So Mouton is French now, but I've decided it's a her after all. I really like her, so yes. Moving on, I also got, this is always good, isn't it? I got a Fleur Delacour wand, and I love her wand, and I love Fleur Delacour. I'm a big Fleur Delacour fan, because I like all strong, beautiful women. And look at her wand. I think it's absolutely marvellous, and I absolutely love it. And it really lies in my hand very well, and I just like it. So now I have the wand of Hermione Granger, Ginny Weasley and Fleur Delacour. So as you can see, I really am into strong women, because they all are strong women to me. The next one I'm going to buy is probably the one from Molly Weasley, if you can actually buy it. I'm not sure about that. But I would love to have like a, you know, a selection of wands that belong to strong-minded women. And Fleur Delacour is the next wand that is in this edition. And actually what I want to buy now is, I want to buy like a wand holder or something, because it's really getting crowded in my shelf, and I also want to display them. I don't want, you know, just to... Yeah, but speaking of displaying, my lovely boyfriend, my man, he, I asked him for sports shoes, because I joined the gym, and this is something I'm going to talk about later. And I said, you know, I would really like to have a good pair of sports shoes, like trainers, because otherwise my feet are just going to be destroyed. But, and then he said, okay, that's cool, but you know, I need you to come with me to the shop. And so I didn't really expect anything for my birthday because we haven't bought them yet. But he actually gave me a present, and I think it's so cute, because he actually bought me a Gryffindor wall crest, you know. It's really cool, I think, because, I mean, who does that? I mean, who gives his 25-year-old girlfriend a Gryffindor crest? I think that shows how much he knows me and how much he loves me. And I haven't put it on the wall yet, but I'm going to do that because I don't have any nails at the moment. Yes, but I think that's really great. And to, I think, sum it up with the Harry Potter presents at least, I'm not going to unfold this now completely because it's very difficult, but I got, from my two sisters together, I got this blanket with the, with the Hogwarts crest on it. If you can see that in any way, can you see that? Yes, I think you can, at least a little bit. Gryffindor, Slytherin. And it's really cozy and I really like it. It's huge, so that's great. and it kicked my purple blanket into the convertible sofa. Yeah, but that's great. So then I got a bike from my parents. I just have to mention this here because you might think that's not many presents, but I got many other presents. I just decided to show some of them to you because otherwise we'd be sitting here for 2 weeks. I got a really beautiful bike for my birthday from my father and my mother. It's chocolate brown and I don't have it in my room because it's big and dirty. But yeah, so just so you know. What I also got, however, is this. From, this is the Magnolia Story from Chip and Joanna Gaines. And I don't know if you know, but I really am addicted to Fix Her Up at the moment. I watch it all the time and I love Chip and Joanna Gaines. I mean, I think they're just a power couple. And I so admire people who are, you know, who are just doing what they want to do and they don't wait until they have degrees and proper studied everything. They just do it. They're just doers. They're not talkers, but they're doers. And I think that's great. And I'm always inspired by people like that. So I wanted to read their book and I'm momentarily reading it. And I really like it so far. Yeah, so I would recommend it to anyone who would like to read about interesting people. Cool. There's another thing that I bought, actually books, 2 books by Ken Robinson. After actually having watched all of his YouTube talks and everything and TED Talks, I decided that I could actually read something that he's written. So I bought these 2. I'm a big Ken Robinson fan. I'm a big fan of anyone who knows that our school system is terribly flawed and horrifying. So yeah. Alright. Cool. So these are my purchases of this week. Well, most of it I didn't purchase because it was my birthday. But there is another thing I would like to talk about, and I wouldn't say it's a rant, but it's not very pleasant either. I've been going to the gym recently. You know, I've joined it 3 weeks ago. And the funny thing was how it started. It didn't start very well because I had this 4 weeks voucher where I could, you know, just test it for free. And I went to the gym like 2 or 3 times a week. And as soon as I signed the contract, I didn't go anymore. It was really horrible. But I just started work and I was a bit overwhelmed with everything, and so I just didn't go, and then I didn't feel very well physically. However, I went to the gym, yeah, and I've already written a blog post about this. So you go to the gym and there's kind of specific people there at some point where you think, okay. And I've been going to these classes, and the funny thing is, you primarily meet people there, women there in these classes, who are like middle-aged and have various complexes. And I'm now at a moment, you know, I'm so kind of ensconced in my own complexes and problems that I don't have very, well, I'm not very tolerant towards other people's complexes at the moment. And the funny thing was, yesterday I went into a class, but I have to tell you a little story about this. It's all going to make sense at some point. I have been dancing pretty much all my life, about 15 years semi-professionally, you know, and I did jazz dance and I did ballet, did all sorts of things, and I went to school with a girl called Joanna. And if you watch this, Joanna, God bless you, I love you. It's just something I have to tell from our childhood. And I started dancing and she started then as well. And she was very flexible and still is, and I admire her for that. I was always jealous about that. I wanted to be as flexible as she was. But she always showed off, you know. It was always like, whenever there was nothing going on, she would do like handstands and splits, and we were all like, yeah, we got it, you're flexible. But it was not only her, I mean, it was all of us, but we were like 13, 14, 15. And for example, what we would do is we would pre-dance the choreography so that everyone would know that we already know it. Like really stupid stuff. And we've grown out of it, because I went to the same dance studio, or to the same dance teacher actually, not the same studio, a year ago, and she was still there, and she doesn't do that anymore, you know, she's really become calm and everything, and we were just children, and we were messing around, and we just had complexes, and I think as a child, especially as a teenager, you're completely entitled to do that. But yesterday, I went into a class, it was so much fun, it was a bit like Zumba, and there were these women. I don't even want to say mean things about them, because that's not how I mean it. But there were women who behaved like me and Joanna in this dance class, but they were like 40. And I think that's kind of embarrassing. You know, if you still have this huge complex, and the problem is they sucked. At least one of them, you know, they weren't even really good at it. And I'm like, if you show off, you should at least know what you're doing. You know, it's like, okay. And also this was also what I mentioned in my blog post. I personally, I don't judge it, I really don't, but I don't understand it, because I'm just a person who has like a natural sense of rhythm and beat and understands music, and I just, for example, like when this dancer shows a movement, I can immediately follow, because I just know my body and know how to move it. And then you see that these women have been there probably for 5 years, and I outdance them in like seconds, and I'm like, how is this even possible? How can you suck so much, so epically, at something you've been doing for such a long time? I don't understand that. But then I think if I were to do, you know, volleyball or something, I would suck at it too, because I'm afraid of balls, and I get the irony, and I hate balls flying towards me, and I do the logical thing I think everyone should do, which is ducking away and screaming at the person for shooting at me. But you know, so I would suck at that too. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I don't suck at anything, not at all, on the contrary. But I don't do that, you know. I don't do something where I'm just awful at. And I think if they have fun with it, that's fine. But then don't show off, you know, because that's kind of embarrassing. At least for me it would be, you know, because if when I play volleyball, I'm the one in the farthest back corner, so that no one will see me, because I really suck at it. At any sort of ball sports and games. It's horrifying. You wouldn't like to see it. And yeah, so much for that. Or mathematics. The other day I was so ashamed, because we were playing like Country River City, and you have this column with the points and things, and I just couldn't add up my points without a calculator. I mean, how embarrassing is that, please? It is embarrassing, and I admit it, and I suck at many things. But I don't suck at dancing, and that's why I love to do it. But you know, and I really know what I'm doing, she said very humbly. And I don't stand in the front and show off, you know, and I think it's just so funny that apparently, because when I was a teenager, I was convinced that these things would eventually fade, that everyone would grow up, that in a grown up world everyone would know who they were, and all these complexes and insecurities, they would just become memories. And then you see just grown-up people who still have these complexes, and you're like, when does it ever end? You know, it's really daunting. Because this woman, I mean, she was so insecure, one of them. She was so insecure, and she was trying, and I'm not saying anything against her. She was a lovely woman and all of that. And I think if she wants to come, that's fine. It's just somewhere in the back of my corner, I'm like, why do you have to show off so much? Why do you have to stand in the middle of the front? Why do you have to pre-dance every choreography just to prove that you know it already? Why do you have to schmooze the teacher? Just, you know. But I love the teacher, because she always made fun of the two. Like, in terms of that she wasn't, you know, giving in. She was just on purpose and changing the choreography and things. Like, in a bite me manner, which I thought was hilarious. And I really liked her, so I'm going to keep going. And I also like the women. They were all really nice people. It's just, you know, at some point, I don't know if you ever feel that way, when you come into a room and you immediately can see the various kinds of people and their issues, and like, not, you can't see their issues, but you can see that they have issues in a specific way, that they're insecure and how they deal with it. And I'm very insecure. I'm not saying I'm the greatest person on the planet. On the contrary. But that was just something I had noticed that I wanted to share, because generally I'm very frightened by the idea of a gym, because I don't know, it's just, I just still feel like I'm not fit and too fat to actually be allowed into a gym. But yeah, I've started now, I'm really happy about it, and yes, anyway, I'm starting to ramble, so it's always a good point to stop, because I'm just talking rubbish now. And it's Friday evening, and you shouldn't do anything serious on Friday evening. So, yes, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed seeing all my presents that you don't have, probably. No, I'm just kidding. And yeah, and I see you next time.